Hey, how's it going? Mike from Mike Rolls Dice. And Invasion America hype is here, and the new Japanese updated army list is now officially live on the Konflikt 47 website. So I thought I would make a video covering the new units, the new platoon and rules, and the new abilities, including the new Oniaru Walker, which I'm very excited for, and some of the new Japanese units. That being said, I figured we'd dive into the armies of Japan here, which we have the updated list for the armies of Japan, the army list. And so far, the army special rules are all looking to be the same, but the new platoon, the Ghost Infiltration platoon here, is really what's exciting. So for the Ghost Infiltration platoon, the mandatory unit is 1 Ghost Infiltration platoon commander, 2 Ghost attack squads, 1 special type Oniaru assault walker, and then for your optional units, you can have 0 to 3 Ghost Attack Squads, 0 to 2 Shadow Warrior Squads, which are the new units that we'll be covering, 0 to 2 Special Type Oniaru Assault Walkers, and 0 to 1 Kamuro Tadaki, Scourge of the Spirit Realm. So essentially with this Assault Platoon, you need the Ghost Platoon Commander, your 2 Attack Squads, and your Oniaru Walker. And after that, you can start adding in more units to fit the flavor of the platoon you're going for. So now for the new platoon special rules, the Bonadori. So once per game, a Ghost Infiltration platoon commander may make use of its Bonadori active rift enhancement before executing an advance, run, or fire order, rather than after. A Ghost Infiltration platoon commander may use its Snap 2 action ability as part of the same order. If any Ghost attack squads are assigned advance, run, or fire orders this way, they may also make use of their Bonadori active rift enhancements before they execute their order rather than attack. So essentially, you're able to, with your Snap 2 ability, allow the Ghost attack squads to also activate their Bonadori rift enhancements. And you're also able to essentially use it before they execute their order, as opposed to after like you normally have to. And the other rule is, which is actually a pretty relevant one, whilst this platoon's Ghost Infiltration platoon commander remains in play, Ghost attack squads, Shadow Warrior squads, and Oniaru assault walkers from the same platoon add a +1 modifier to any morale test they take when using their active rift enhancements. Note that a Ghost Infiltration platoon commander in reserve is not considered in play. So that means for all of your teleportation abilities and all that, those are all morale checks. So you're getting a +1 to your morale test. So as long as you're a veteran, you're going to be at a 10 on your morale. You're getting +1, so an 11. So that means only on double sixes, a foobar, will you actually fail. And hopefully, obviously, you can use luck, guts, and things like that as well. Right, because I believe they also have the ability to get guts. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, guts and luck. So you just don't have access to rift enhancements or the rift mastery. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited. That seems like a pretty decent platoon. The rules aren't too crazy, but you're going to see the units got some pretty nice buffs. So that leads us to the new hero. I was going to save this for last, but honestly, he's too cool. I think we got to go over him right off the bat. And it is quite a hefty unit sheet, to say the least. So Kamuro Tadaki, Scourge of the Spirit Realm. He's 159 points. So he's similar to Slammer Samuels, I guess, in terms of points. So he's the 1 Empire of Japan hero type 32 mil base, standard weapon energy projections, which the energy projections is a 6-inch range, 3 shots, and +3 pen with assault, and it's a rift weapon. So that's already pretty cool. That's like a way better heavy Tesla rifle assault profile. He has movement of 8-inch and run of 16 for the advance and run. Veteran, damage value 6, and he's morale 10 with fearless. Damage value 6 is pretty good. That's already, I was excited to see that as opposed to 5 for the standard ghosts. Special rules, he has deadly 3. He's got the energy projections we're going to go over. He's got fast, fearless, fieldcraft, horror, incorporeality, which means that Kamuro Tadaki always receives a 3+ incorporeality save against any damage, which cannot be modified in any way. Kamuro Tadaki receives no benefits from being in cover. And he's got Infiltrator. So the incorporeality is essentially like a 3-up invulnerability save. We haven't seen anything like that, so I'm very excited. It's definitely going to make him a little bit harder to kill. Now, he doesn't have hard to kill or anything like that. He does have 3 points of Rift Mastery and 1 point of luck, so the luck will help. But he is just damage value 6, we need to remember. So he's still, even though it seems pretty crazy, I think you'll still be able to take him out pretty easily. The energy projections. So Kamuro Tadaki may exhaust a Rift die in order to make a shooting attack using energy projections. In close quarters combat, he may exhaust a Rift die to make use of the energy projections. Note that if he does, the effect lasts for the entirety of a single close quarters combat sequence, i.e. a maximum of 2 rounds of close quarters combat. If he does not, he makes attacks as normal, i.e. 3 attacks total with no pen modifier. So again, it's a better heavy Tesla, but he has to use a Rift dice to use it. It's not like a Assault Profile Slammer Samuels where he's getting 3 attacks plus 1 pen at 6 inches. But that being said, the fact he has Deadly 3, so he's going to be making... Now, I don't think... Does Assault... No, if he had Tough Fighters, it would give him an extra attack, right? So he's going to be making 3 attacks at plus 3 pen close quarters combat. That's pretty damn good, and he's got a point of luck. So he's got 4 Rift dice because I guess the ability plus the 3 points of Rift Mastery. His active Rift enhancements are Shinobi Kukan no Tatsujin. Again, somebody was helping with the Japanese pronunciation, and I love it that you folks help with that. But don't ever get your hopes up, okay? But that means Master of Shinobi Space. And see page 5. You'll see this guy's the first hero unit that has 2 pages, by the way, of rules. And Oniaru Shokayo, or Oniaru Leap. Surging bonus, energy projections increase to pen 4, shooting and close quarters combat. That's really good, because with the Rift Mastery, instantly convert 2 die, instantly taking a die, converting 1 to surging, and then you have the essentially 4 pen. You still need to use die, as you'll see for different abilities, but the exhausted penalty loses incorporeality special rule. All Shinobi shadows in play are immediately removed. So the Shinobi shadows, we're going to get to that here. You could probably just make a whole video just on this guy's abilities, but we're going to cover all of it because I'm very excited for it. So Shinobi Kukan no Tatsujin, Master of Shinobi Space. Before or after executing an advance or down order, Kamuro Tadaki may exhaust a Rift die to target an enemy unit within line of sight and issue it a Shinobi Shadow. Place a Shinobi Shadow with the target unit in the same way as a pin marker. This is not considered a shooting attack. Shinobi Shadows have the following effect. So that's what these ghost tokens are that come with the hero. I was wondering if they were going to be bodyguards. They're actually like tokens or shadows or ghosts. So these are the effects. Each Shinobi Shadow lowers a unit morale value by 2. This is cumulative with any pin markers that unit has and can destroy it if its morale value reaches 0. So I forgot that we never really do that, but that is a way to destroy a unit. If a unit has 1 or more Shinobi Shadows, it suffers a -1 to hit when shooting. This is cumulative with any pin markers the unit has. It has all of these effects, by the way. Holy, I didn't realize that. Oh my god, okay. Any unit with 1 or more Shinobi Shadows must pass an order test when issued an order die in the same way as pinned units. If the unit has both pin markers and Shinobi Shadows, only 1 order test is required. Okay. Any unit with 1 or more Shinobi Shadows will be subject to a surprise charge if assaulted. Wow, that's going to be interesting. Rev loves... Oh, okay, that's going to be interesting. Any unit with the Fearless and/or Fanatic special rule loses these abilities while they have a Shinobi Shadow. Okay, that's crazy. But now here's the thing. Those all are cumulative, right? It's not like you pick one. So that's it seems like these shadows pretty huge debuff, but you can remove them. A unit can remove all Shinobi Shadows by being issued a rally order and passing an unmodified morale test, or may remove 1 instead of a pin marker when passing an order test. If any special ability would remove all pin markers, all Shinobi Shadows are also removed. That's interesting. We'll cover that when we read this, after we read this last section. A maximum of 3 shinobi shadows created by Kamuro Tadaki may be in play at any one time. Kamuro Tadaki may use this enhancement multiple times as part of the same order, and may target the same unit multiple times with this ability. If 3 friendly shinobi shadows are created by Kamuro Tadaki are already in play, he may not make use of this enhancement. All shinobi shadows created by Kamuro Tadaki are immediately removed in play if he's ever removed as a casualty or becomes exhausted. That's an active rift enhancement, and he does not... Okay, so you do need to exhaust the rift die, right? So he has 4 rift die. He does need exhausted to use it, so he's got a lot of abilities he wants to try and spend his resources on. But that is a very good one, obviously. And one thing we wanted to note, while I was watching Mordian's live stream where he was going over this a couple days ago, I mentioned when he brought that up, I thought immediately in my head of the stall trooping ability. But any sort of ability that allows you to remove all of your pins then will essentially just remove the shadows from that unit. So if we go to a stall trooping ability, it's Vormarsch. When given an advance order, a stall trooping, I'm just reading the officer, but it's the same thing. A stall trooping officer and any additional stall trooping who accompany them may opt to pass their order test automatically and discard all of their pin markers. If they do so, exhaust the rift die after they have completed their advance order. And the other one is, so that'll work. The other one is the Daughters of the Motherland. We go down to the Daughters of the Motherland rallying cry. Before rolling an order test, Daughters of the Motherland can opt to exhaust their rift die to remove D3 pins from their own unit and all friendly units within 6 inches. Roll the D3 separately for the affected unit. If this results in the Daughters of the Motherland squad removing all of their pin markers, then the order test is automatically passed, unless the order test would be mandatory even without the pin markers, e.g. Tank Fear. This enhancement is used exhausted one of the rift dies of Daughters of the Motherland after it's completed its order. So obviously the stall trooping one's a little better because it automatically does it. But still, abilities that remove the pins will work for it. I just wanted to bring that up because that's an interesting interaction. Something to think about when you play with them or against them. And last but not least, Oniaru Shokayu, Oniaru Leap. When issued an order die or after executing an order, Kamuro Tadaki may exhaust one of his rift die to remove himself from the battlefield, retaining his order and rift die. He then may be set up again anywhere on the table at least 6 inches from an enemy unit or objective, including intelligence markers, enemy bases, etc. Note that when set up again, this can trigger an ambush. Kamuro Tadaki may use this enhancement while locked in close quarters combat. So that's pretty much the ghost ability, the updated ghost ability, which you'll notice it went from 12 inches from the objectives and all that to now 6, or from the enemy. I forgot which was the original ghost teleportation rule. All right, so already Kamuro Tadaki is badass. I think we can all agree on that. He's very, very cool. I'm excited for Rev to use him against me. One thing I will note, we can agree, he definitely seems like a utility tool. Like, you can use him, or utility piece. You can use him with he's got a ton of abilities. He can teleport. You're really going to have to, I think, you're going to want to use him with the Shinobi Shadows ability and trying to affect units, forcing them to essentially either waste their turns trying to rally. So you can really probably turn the tide of the battle with just him alone. That being said, he will, even though with the invulnerable save, I think just shooting him with HMGs or autocannons will probably be taken out. So the next new unit is the Ghost Infiltration Platoon Commander. So it's a 1 specialist officer, platoon commander, 25mm base, and they come equipped with the Type 10 Shiburo rifle. I forgot to mention the 56 points. So whilst fast, 8 and 16, otherwise 6 and 12. Damage value 5, and veteran 10 morale. So like the Ghost, they have fast, fieldcraft, hard to kill, horror, and infiltrator. And I usually forget about horror, by the way. It's a rift unit, so it has the rift die. So normally they'd have 1 for the Ghost enhancement, but if you're using the Shiburo rifle, the Type 10, then you have 2. And the active rift enhancement is the Bonadori, the new updated Ghost teleportation ability. So after executing an advance or run order, a Ghost Infiltration Platoon Commander may exhaust one of its rift die to remove itself from the battlefield, retaining the order, rift, and any pin markers. And if it does so, it must make a morale check. If the morale check has failed, the unit is destroyed. If the morale check is passed, then the Ghost Infiltration Platoon Commander may be set up anywhere on the table that is at least 6 inches from an enemy unit and objective, including intelligence markers and enemy bases, etc. Note that when set up again, this can trigger enemy units on ambush. A Ghost Infiltration platoon commander may use this enhancement while locked in close quarters combat. So this is the new updated Bonadori. And again, normally this is after executing an advance or run order. But with the new platoon ability, this will allow the platoon commander to do it before and then affect the other units. Let me just double check. Yep, so once per game, the Ghost Infiltration platoon commander with the special rule in this platoon can do it before executing and then affect 2 other units with Snap 2. So that's something to think about. Surging bonus, gain Deadly 2. And then the exhausted penalty is lose fast and field craft special rules. So for the options, again, the model's 56 points. Additional Ghost attack armed soldiers with Type 10 Shiburu rifles. You can have 2 of them, so it'll be a 3-man squad at 30 points. And if you'll notice, the Ghosts went down in price. Some of the units, like the Walkers, went down in price. I don't have the exact price changes, but pretty much I believe what it is, the Type 10 Shiburu rifles went down 2 points. So just innately, the Ghosts ended up getting cheaper. The Shiburu rifle squads are cheaper. Some of the Walkers are cheaper now, and some of the Shiburu cannon upgrades for the tanks are cheaper. I'll see if I can find the point change, or maybe some of you folks can leave a comment down below and let us know what it was. So you can replace the Type 10 Shiburu rifles with the SMG for -4 points, 3 per squad. You may take close combat blades at +1 pen in close quarters, 2 points, and limit of 3 per squad. The officer may take one of the following hero stat points: Guts 10, Luck 15 as usual. So again, the Japanese don't have access to Rift Mastery, but the Luck I think is really going to be useful. And of course, Guts. Guts is always good. And squad upgrade must be applied to the entire squad as usual. The Yorokumi anti-tank launchers, they're like RPGs, and the anti-tank grenades, so 5 and 2 points. But yeah, Ghost Platoon Commander seems pretty dead on for what you want. I think the points are pretty good too for the abilities and all that. And you're definitely you obviously have to have one for the platoon, the special platoon, but the ability with the Snap 2 thing is pretty good. All right, so for the next new units, again, if we look at the Imperial Japanese Shiburu's rifle squad, maybe somebody will know, but they went down in price, and I think the whole reason is the fact that it's the Shiburu rifles got cheaper. 7 soldiers, that's interesting, they come in a 7-man squad. The NCO, 6 soldiers with the Shiburu rifles in regular, is it? Oh no, they're veteran by base. Okay, so these are veterans, 147. I think you can tell I haven't played the Japanese yet, but once we get done with this list, I think you're going to see why I'm going to want to start in a Japanese army. So, battle frame rifles, battle frame armored infantry squad. Again, these, I believe, they come with SMGs, so the only difference in points should be the fact that, yeah, I think these were 6 points before the Type 10 Shiburu rifles, and now they're 4. Assault frame infantry, again, they can have Shiburu rifles, it looks like, which I didn't realize that either. Somebody mentioned, we'll see if these are as useful now with the Shadow Warriors. We'll touch on that later, but I think the assault frame infantry still have a huge part of the army. Will play a huge role in it. Ghost Attack Squad, 150 points. 1 NCO for Ghost Attack soldiers. Specialist infantry, 25 mil base, Type 10 Shiburu rifles. Again, I think these dropped in price. 2 points, 5 guys. I think they went down from 160 to 150. 8 and 16 while fast, 6 12 otherwise, and veteran, damage value 5, morale 10. So most of this is all similar. I think they just went down in price, and I believe we'll see here. Okay, yeah, I believe, okay, there are a couple of changes. So they have fast, field craft, hard to kill, horror, and infiltrator. They're a rift unit and rift dice 1 or 2 if carrying the Type 10 Shiburus, because of the crush ability. And they have the active rift enhancement. I'm not going to read it. It's essentially the same exact thing as the platoon commander one. Again, they changed it from 12 to 6 inches for whether it was enemy, I think it was, or objectives. I forgot which one. I think it was enemy. So this is the updated Bonadori. Surging bonus, they gain Deadly 2. And the exhausted penalty, they lose fast in the field craft special rules. So again, additional Ghost Attack soldiers, I believe they went down 2 points each because of the Type 10 Shiburus. So 30 points, and you can have 5, so a 10-man squad. The NCO may take a combat blade for +1 pen. It's 2 points. Now, squad upgrades. Yorokumi anti-tank launchers, +5 points per model. All of them must have it. Anti-tank grenades, +2. Engineers, +1. And I think this is a new one. Japanese players, I need you to chime in. But replace the Type 10 Shiburo rifle with an SMG and close combat blade, -2 points per model. It's -10 points. You can get this down to 150 for a veteran unit that teleports with SMGs and the close combat blades, which are +1 pen. They'll have tough fighters, 2 attacks, +1 pen, but if you give them the surging bonus, they go up to deadly 2, so they should have 3 attacks then at +1 pen, right? We'll see though. I think you want to probably just use the Shiburo rifles because there's a new melee teleporting unit that is absolutely badass. So, but yeah, that's the new Ghost Warrior. And speaking of the new melee warrior squad, when we did the most recent video going over the community article, I was so excited. But after just seeing all of the rules and everything, it's 100% solidified. I'm making a Japanese army, 2 Oniaru walkers, almost all Shadow Warriors, and the mandatory ghosts, and maybe just some basic infantry, and run them like freaking Blood Angels. Paint them red, black, and gold. I think it's gonna be sick. Shadow Warrior squad. I'm gonna read the flavor for this because I'm so excited for it. Whilst the majority of the Imperial Japanese Ghost battalions are typically armed with Shiburo compression rifles, some squads are instead trained as close quarters specialists. Their traditional hand-to-hand weapons render them evoking the appearance of the samurai of old. But in reality, these Shadow Warriors practice a brutal new form of ninjutsu, teleporting short distances to wield their blades with deadly efficacy before their presence is even known. Oh god, they're so cool. So, Shadow Warriors. They're 145 points for NCO and 4 Shadow Warriors. Specialist Infantry, 25mm base, and various close combat weapons. +1 pen. So you see they have spears, swords. They have all sorts of cool stuff. Wall fast 8 and 16, otherwise 6 and 12. They're veteran, damage value 5, morale 10. So like a regular ghost. They have deadly 3. Deadly 3 with +1 pen. So I don't think you want to run the ghosts with the SMGs. I think you want to use Shiburo rifles and just run Shadow Warriors. But if you don't have the room for Shadow Warriors in the squad and you have to use the ghosts, I guess you could. They have fast, fieldcraft, hard to kill, horror, and infiltrator. I mean, dude, you're going to have... Just think about running the ghost platoons. You're going to have, like, everything with infiltrator, which is crazy. And fieldcraft and all that. Alright, so they have 1 rift dice and the active rift enhancement. Kage no Kageki. Shadow attack. When declaring an assault and issued a run order, a Shadow Warrior squad may make use of this enhancement. If it does, it may charge an enemy unit within its line of sight, regardless of the distance to that unit. Teleport across the board into melee. Hell yeah. If it does so, it must take a morale check. If the morale check has failed, the Shadow Warrior squad is destroyed. If the morale check is passed, then the Shadow Warrior squad may assault the target unit. Move the closest model into base contact with the closest model in the target unit by the shortest possible route, before placing the other models in base contact as you would for the normal assault. Now, the target may react by firing as normal, however, any unit called upon to make a morale test as a result of the Shadow Warrior squad's horror rule applies a -1 modifier to the result. Any reaction fire is resolved before the Shadow Warrior squad moves into base contact for the purpose of establishing any cover. An exception to the normal assault rules, weapons with a maximum range of 6 inches or less may not be used in reaction fire during the use of this enhancement. Targets of a shadow attack can never benefit from a defensive position bonus. This assault move will not normally trigger any ambush orders. The only exception is if the target unit itself is on an ambush order. Okay. Exhaust the Shadow Warrior squad's rift dice after it's completed its run order. Note that if it's locked in close quarters combat, the rift die will exhaust after the second round of close quarters is resolved. So essentially, God, that's a lot of text. You can see them across the board. You're going to pass your morale check, hopefully, which you should, on an 11. And then you will teleport into combat. If they try to shoot at you, they get a -1. Now, that's a morale test for the Shadow Warrior squad's horror rule to react fire. I wonder, does the Does the Shinobi Shadows affect that as well with another -2? So it's a -3 to their... I don't know if that's how that works. Maybe someone can let me know in the comments. And then you're not shooting within 6 inches, obviously. So weapons with a maximum range of 6 inches or less may not be used against it. They don't receive the defensive position bonus. And unless they are actually on ambush, they will not get the... When a unit gets assaulted and you don't have a dice, you can choose to make a fire reaction as they're assaulting you. They can't do that unless they have an ambush order, it looks like. Unless I read that wrong. Okay, that's a lot of text in one ability. I like it. Surging bonus, Deadly 3 special rule replaced with Deadly 4. So you'd... Oh my god, if you can give them Surging, which maybe use Tadaki with his Rift enhancement, and you just give them... It would cost 2 die permanently, right? Because you convert one to Surging and then give it. But you can give them a Surging die and just keep them at Deadly 4. The problem is you're going to have to use your Rift die to do the teleport ability. So they're not like super crazy, but even Deadly 3 plus 1 pen teleporting in combat seems pretty darn good. Additional Shadow Warriors, 29 points per model, 5, so you can have a 10-man squad, which I'm assuming it would just be like double or something, right? And squad upgrades, they can have the Eurokrumi anti-tank launchers, which is interesting. I don't know if I would use it. Anti-tank grenades, I guess I mean, they're not very good, right? They're pretty much worthless in general, but if you're charging a tank, I guess, let's say, you don't have Fearless. So you do need to pass a tank fear check for like walkers and tanks, if I'm not wrong, right? So, but you'll see, I think we'll have another unit to deal with taking out walkers and tanks in close quarters combat. Either way, I want 20 Shadow Warriors. Minimum, I think, is what I want. So next up, I think the Shiburu sniper team did get cheaper because of the upgrade. Went from 10 to 8, could be wrong. I may miss some stuff, like some of the Shiburu cannons and stuff like that, but it's pretty much just point changes for the most part. Like the Kaikiho Walker, no, this one's MMG, so the Kaikiho Light Walker normally has anti-tank. You can replace the Type 6 anti-tank with a Type 61 Shiburu cannon for 60 points. So I want to say this might have went down 20 points or something. Someone could let me know what the difference is. Sasori Walker comes with a Type 61. It's 215. So I think this went down as well. Maybe from 235. So if that is 20 points, that would make sense. Inigo Walker, nothing crazy. Okay, now we made it to what really sold me on getting a Japanese army. So I don't know if you know this, I used to play Blood Angels in 10th edition. And I love melee armies. And now in Conflict, I pretty much just play shooting. But one of my favorite things to do was have like some sort of, obviously tons of assault intercessors, jetpack dudes, Death Company, Dante leading the charge, and also like Brutalis dreadnoughts and stuff. They weren't necessarily the best, but I just love a dreadnought charging into combat, like the Death Company dreads. This reminds me so much of that. This is seems like a very heavily melee focused walker that obviously can use shooting as well, but it seems like you're going to cause havoc across the board with these things. So I think if you get 2 of these walkers, oh my god, you're going to be doing some damage. And so, okay. The type, so it's the special type Oniaru Assault Walker, 258 points. That's pretty cheap. I mean, compared to like a linebacker, for instance, right? I think we have to read real quick. We have to read the flavor, right? The successes of the Ghost Battalions across the island battlefields of the Pacific naturally led to the efforts to upsize the Ghost Engine technology and grant much larger machines of war the ability to phase through solid objects. The result was the special type Oniaru based on the bipedal designs employed by the US in the attempted invasion of Iwo Jima in 1946. The severity and speed of the Oniaru displayed in its combat testing and its ability to rapidly redeploy using the improved Ghost engine improved both its pilots and engineers. The bipedal design also allowed for a number of different loadouts, given the ability of the new walker to engage the enemy at close quarters without the fear of losing closing fire. It could be outfitted with Shiburu micro-gravity wave weapons and/or special combat blades. Not only did this give the Oniaru increased reach against enemy walkers when engaged in hand-to-hand, but also evoked the legacy of the samurai, in the same vein as the shingunto carried by officers within the IGA. Oh, is that the swords that they used in World War II? That were kind of like an homage to samurai swords, but they were kind of based off European sabers, I think, as well. Is that what that is? If I'm not wrong. To best preserve the secrets of the Oniaru ghost technology, a detonation mechanism was also integrated into the engine itself. Should the machine ever be compromised, it would thrust the Oniaru into shinobi space before exploding. Oh, wow. They're like, we don't want anyone to get this technology. Alright, so it's a medium walker, 2 legs. It's got one arm mounting a walker combat blade, and one arm with a mounting twin HMGs. And they're not half, so it's going to be twin HMGs will be 12 shots, I believe. So, that being said, I want you to remember, walker blade in one arm, HMGs on the other arm, that other arm will make +4 attacks. You know, the +4 pen damage attacks. So, it has essentially 2 arms. People forget a lot the melee with weapons on the arms, but it's only like rocket arms that you can't attack with. Alright, so movement is 12. Or up to 12 with advance, and then 1224, so it's nice and fast. It's veteran, damage value 9, so that's on par for most medium walkers, and morale value is 10. Now this is where we get into the cool stuff. Special rules. Piercing blade, only if equipped with a walker combat blade. When engaged in close quarters against an enemy vehicle unit, an Oniaru equipped with a walker combat blade may make use of this special rule. The Oniaru may not make attacks with its legs, but the bonus for each of its functioning arms is increased to +3. Note that the Oniaru legs still add their +1 modifier to the final roll if they are still functional. Yeah, because I think the way walker on walker or walker on vehicle combat works is you take like your leg dice and your arm dice and you roll them, and then you see who gets the highest result, and then you use your pen. It's a little complicated. We'll have to make a video just covering that in general. That's why, thank God I have Rev. He's so good at understanding the rules a lot of times, much better than I am. But essentially, it's going to... You're not going to be making the attacks with the legs, I believe, to see who gets the more successes, but you're going to be getting a lot more pen to your rolls, because you like add it all up into like a big pen roll at the end. Again, the walker combat can be a little confusing at times. But either way, the blade, you're going to be smashing vehicles with it. The sweeping strike, only if equipped with a walker combat blade. When overrunning an enemy infantry or artillery unit, an Oniaru equipped with a walker combat blade may make a sweeping strike instead of its usual attacks. Make a number of rolls to hit equivalent to the number of models in the overrun unit. Hits are scored on 5 pluses. Any hits have a +4 pen modifier. So, the way it normally works, when you overrun, you take a walker, run it over a unit. They take a morale test. If they fail, they flee off the board, number 1. When you make attacks, though, you can only make attacks up to the number of models that it affected that moved out of the way, and you can't obviously make more attacks in your arms and legs. This allows you to, if you cross over 10 models, you're going to make 10 attacks. Now it's hitting on 5s, but still you get +4 pen. So you can choose, I think, to use either, if with your blade, you can choose to do piercing blade, or you can choose to use your sweeping strike. Okay, piercing blade is only for enemy vehicle units. That's something to note. Okay, you can always choose to do your regular 2 arms and 2 legs as well, is what I'm trying to say. It's 2-legged and vengeance and death. If an Oniaru ever suffers a knocked out result or would be abandoned by its crew, any infantry or artillery unit within 6 inches of the Oniaru immediately suffers D3 hits with a +2 pen modifier with no cover saves allowed and D2 pins. Roll for each unit affected separately. Casualties can trigger a morale check as if it was from shooting attack, and then remove the Oniaru from the battlefield. It does not become a wreck. So it gets sucked into shinobi space, sucking in some of the units with it, causing some damage. That's really cool. I know a lot of people probably don't want a ton of deadly demise or anything like Warhammer type stuff, but I do like the Noxair Walker blowing up. I do like this gravity sort of, because these rift weapons, if they overload or something goes wrong, I would imagine it would be a spectacular event watching that happen. All right, Rift unit. So Rift dice, 1 or 2 if equipped with any Shiburo cannons. We'll see here soon. Because they come with the twin HMGs, so it's an upgrade. And active Rift enhancement, Ghost Engine. After executing an advance or run or fire order, an Oniaru may exhaust one of its Rift die to remove itself from the battlefield, retaining its order, Rift die, and any pin markers. If it does so, it must make a morale check. If the morale check has failed, the Oniaru is destroyed. If the morale check is passed, the Oniaru may be set up again anywhere on the battlefield that is at least 12 inches from an enemy unit and 6 from an objective, including intelligence markers and bases. Note that when it's set up again, this can trigger units on ambush. Oniaru may use this enhancement while locked in close quarters combat. So this is interesting. This is like the old Ghost ability. 12 inches from an enemy. So it must have been 12 inches from an enemy was the old one, right? And 6 from an objective. That's interesting. Maybe they don't want it. It might be a little too powerful, honestly, or something. Or it may make it harder if you're using guts. I don't know. But so it isn't like the Ghosts. It is. I mean, it is like the Ghost, but it's not exactly the same. So you got to remember that when playing with it. Surging bonuses. The Oniaru may make use of the Ghost Engine active Rift enhancement before executing an advance run or fire order. So kind of like the special once per game platoon rule where you can activate your Bonadori before you execute. Which, I mean, think about that. You can teleport and then run over a unit or advance over a unit and shoot or fire. So that's pretty good. Exhausted penalty may not be issued advance or run orders. And when it comes to the weapon options, replace arm-mounted 20 HMGs with the Type 61 Shiburo cannon. That's 30 points. Replace the arm-mounted Walker blade, combat blade with Type 61 Shiburo cannon. That's plus 90 points. So I guess you could have dual Shiburo cannons, right? Yeah, you totally can. And for 50 points, you can replace the arm-mounted twin HMG and the arm-mounted Walker combat blade with dual-barreled Type 99 Shiburo cannons mounted across both arms. This is interesting. When rolling to hit with a dual-barreled Type 99 Shiburo cannon, you may reroll any misses. Is that a new thing? Was there a dual-barreled Type 99 before this? I know there was another heavier Shiburo cannon, right? But I'm curious. We're still waiting for the dual barrel Tesla with the +3 pen. They don't have a model for it, but it's in the book. So that's really cool. You can reroll. Yeah, this. I'm so excited, and the way it looks is just. I mean, you'll see. We put the photos throughout the video. It just looks so good. So I think 2 of these, a bunch of Shadow Warriors, some Ghosts, and a Platoon Commander and Tadaki, and that's my army right there, you know? And last but not least, I think there was some points changes. I think the Shiburo cannon, the price of the Chiha, I believe, went down. There is a Type 99 you can upgrade to for plus 25 points. So I believe the Type 99 went down as well. So there is a Type 99, but this is a dual-barrel Type 99. So I think only this specific one on the Walker gets the rerolls. So let's see. There's the Chi-Nu tank, which we don't see a lot on the channel because Rev doesn't have one. But there's a new plastic mini coming out for it, so get one if you like, because they are pretty cool. Replace the turret-mounted Type 99 Shiburo with a medium. So yeah, this is 204 points for a Type 99 Shiburo. It's got a little bit more pen, right? If I'm not wrong. And I think that's it. Oh man. So, I will say, I am super excited. I think Warlord knocked it out of the park. Like, I'm just the melee units, the teleporting. They definitely buffed the teleporting a little bit. They made the Shiburo stuff cheaper. So I think in general, the Japanese players, you're going to be able to play with more units a little bit, mess with a little bit more points. Obviously, take 2 Oniaru walkers because they're so freaking cool, or at least one. Now, one thing to note is they don't actually have an Oniaru walker, and it's, well, they do, but it'll be on pre-order in late November. It'll be coming out at some point next year. So they're encouraging some kit bashing and stuff. Now, one thing I wanted to point out real quick, one of my favorite makers for STLs that does a lot of stuff for the Konflikt 47 community, by the way, is Kaishuniku Miniatures. So what I recommend, obviously you can take like an Inigo walker and convert it that way, or just use an Inigo walker. You might even be able to take some of the US walkers in general. You could definitely just probably take an Inigo here and convert it, maybe remove the cannons, put these 2 cannons on the arm, find a sword, and either make a hand or just stick a sword like right in that hand. Make some sort of cod piece here, and then put a head up here. Or this could be the head. You just take the cannon out, for instance. That could probably be one way you do it, and you make that little head piece, for instance. This is a little bulky. I'm sure there's probably some US models you might be able to use. I think this is good, though. I think what I'm going to try and do is Kaishun Niku. Apologies again if I'm butchering their name. I use their Mud Skipper proxy, and it's really nice. It's not officially called that, but it's clear, you know, I use it as a Mud Skipper. So this Type 98 Kurogane medium walker, I want to point this out. I think I'm going to have Rev FDM print it. It's kind of got a cod piece. It's got the legs. And then I got to just figure out something with the hands. Maybe cut the hands, put a cannon here, maybe keep the saw, just put cannons. Take these cannons out, and then do something up top here. Just not print this guy and put a head up there. That's something I wanted to point out. Shout out to Kaishuniku. I use their miniatures a lot, and they're really nice quality. So I know you could obviously kit bash some stuff like the Inigo walkers, or just use your Inigos. And I'm sure there's even other STLs that you could find. But it's something I wanted to point out. So obviously we won't get the walker till on pre-order till, you know, November. So the rules are out there, and you can start playing with it this weekend, right, or today if you want. So in the meanwhile, I guess just grab a walker and or maybe some cool Gundam, you know, or something like that, and just have some fun. So all right, well, again, these are new types of videos. We mostly do battle reports and stuff like that. We've been doing our solo Konflikt TTRPG series. We do some miniature related stuff here and there, but we made a quick video covering the Warlord community article recently, and people seem to like it. And I'm having a lot of fun covering the new stuff that Warlord's doing. So if you guys like this sort of video, let me know, because they're not necessarily that hard to make in terms of, you know, as opposed to 3 days editing a huge battle report. So obviously we'll keep the battle reports coming. We have Turnip 28 coming up next, and then we're recording a Soviets versus Japanese game as our own little pre-invasion skirmish going on that side of the world. But that being said, I believe Rev is getting his Invasion America bundle today, or his pre-order with the new ghosts, the box with the new ghosts, as well as the Invasion America book, Slammer Samuels, and the special U.S. Armored Infantry guy. So we'll see. I think probably this weekend I'm going to try and dive into the book, and we're going to essentially try and start filming the Invasion America scenarios as soon as possible. So we're probably going to have our Turnip 28 battle report, and probably a regular Konflikt battle report between the Soviets and Japanese, and then after that we're going to start getting ready whatever terrain we need and everything, and start filming all of the Invasion America scenarios. So that's the idea, at least. We got a bunch of civilians in the mail from Warlord Summer Sale, so we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to need to what do you call it? The one thing is Rev now has to build all of that stuff and paint it. So everyone in the comment section, give Rev some encouragement to get all that stuff done, because man, he's gonna need it. So but all right, well, thank you so much again for watching. My name's Mike from Mike Rolls Dice. We have a ton of different Konflikt 47 content here on the channel, including some awesome battle reports. Check out the pre-invasion of America battle report we just did recently. And if you're excited and looking to pick up any of the new Japanese units, if you're located here in the United States, there's 10 more days left for our sponsor with the Tabletop Strategist, and they're located in Orlando, Florida, and you can get free shipping on orders $75 or more with Konflikt 47 or Bolt Action. So you can use the code Mike Rolls. So one of the best ways you can support the channel, obviously just watching the videos always means a lot. It's one of the best ways to do it. But hopefully, maybe if we're lucky, we can get another sponsorship, and then I can essentially use that to help get a Japanese army. Shout out to the Tabletop Strategist. They sponsored that pre-invasion of America video, and we were able to essentially get a pretty large chunk of British Commonwealth forces because of that, and now we have some nice official plastic and metal miniatures for the Commonwealth. So if you are looking to pick up any of the new Japanese releases, go check out the Tabletop Strategist and tell them we sent you by using code MikeRolls. Alright, well thank you so much again for watching. We have new battle reports, new conflict videos, new solo TTRPG stuff, all sorts of stuff planned. And we'll be streaming tomorrow afternoon as usual on Saturday, so feel free to stop by. Well, thank you so much again for watching. My name is Mike from Mike Rolls Dice, and needless to say, we are quite excited for Invasion America. We get ready, there's going to be a lot of Japanese content here on the channel. Alright, well thank you again for watching, and as always, keep rolling high on those dice.